Hey, hop in. Taxi's here. Welcome to Confetti Land. Where can I take you? The Glitter Pie Art Studio. I'll have you there in a jiff. Perfect time, too. The traffic's light in the city today.
Greetings from Confetti Land,
home of the Confetti Bar. I'm Jessica, founder and confetti artist.
And I'm Alexis, head of happiness. Join us here in this magical, colorful place where we
have fun,
feel feelings,
and encourage you to embrace your unique version of happiness and all of its beautiful, messy pieces.
We are so excited to have you join us.
Friends, today is truly a dream come true for me as the Tiffany Pratt is here to visit with us in Confetti Land. As someone I've admired greatly for many years, I'm constantly inspired by her work as a designer, a creative, an artist, an author, a podcast host, an HGTV star, and so much more. Her love of color and sparkle shines through in everything she does, which is why Alexis and I are glitterally so excited to have this opportunity to chat and absorb some of her magic and wisdom firsthand. So Tiffany, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us.
Welcome.
I just want to say to anybody out there, both of you are true magic because there's a lot of things in this world that can be transactional and extremely boring. I'm just going to cut to the chase. Boring. And you've both been steadfast and tenacious getting me on the show, which I deeply admire because I totally missed your first invitation because of the holidays. And then you send this stellar package to the peoples who get to be on your podcast. This is dedication. This is going the extra mile. This is true, I would say inspired content. This isn't just throwing a podcast up there. This is really, truly branded and considered and thought through. And so I'm impressed and I'm honored to be here with my fellow confetti glitter friends.
Yes, well, thank you. And thank you for the compliments. I will admit, so I am not like an avid podcast listener. Alexis and Clifford actually were the ones who had to keep bringing it to me. I think we should start a podcast. And I was like, I don't know. But your podcast, The Love Jam, is actually the only one I've actually listened to start to finish. And so when I decided we were going to do this, and I remember you kind of talking about how you had made a special place for people and everything, I was like, I need to make sure this is an experience. And that's the only way I feel right and feel good about doing it. So I appreciate that you appreciate our little touches in trying to make this a bit of an experience all around.
It's not a bit, it's a full experience, right down to the parcel. And I admire that so much because I believe in that. And I've always believed in making something feel like an experience. And with the Love Jam, that's part of why it stopped, is because the world kind of went upside down and I couldn't get people in the space anymore face to face. And to some degree, I felt like it was kind of losing the magic that it started with, and I didn't want to compromise that. So that's sort of why the Love Jam went sideways. But for every 3 seasons, there was a parting gift, and everyone got a really weird Love Jam, Tiffany weird gratitude creation. So that's why I love this shit. I love it so much.
I'm glad you appreciate it.
I do.
Well, I mean, with everything that you do and have accomplished, which we will get more into, but I feel like, my intro could never actually truly do you justice. So I would love to hear a little bit from you specifically, kind of a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
I think I like to keep it pretty simple, actually. I'm just a creative person out in the world doing her thing, and very much feeling dedicated to this creative life. And I think that anything that is a result of my dedication to this creative life is a wonderful thing. But as I've gotten older, I've also realized, because I'm in my mid-40s now, so it's sort of this interesting thought of, whatever you've created has been a beautiful thing, but we can't get too attached to the things we've done. We have to keep evolving. And so what have I done? I've been interested in so many things, and I think you can both relate that when you're a creative person, just doing one thing feels like you're being trapped in a cage. And I don't necessarily do things for flash so much as I do things because it feels necessary, or it feels like my spirit will be sad if I don't do it. And in some cases, some projects, people have sort of pushed in my way and I've done them. Like the Love Jam is a great example. But the best thing I can say to anyone out there listening that's living a creative life and wants to continue that momentum is to always remember that yes is a beautiful word. As much as it's important to, protect yourself and your boundaries and your magic and say no where necessary, I still have to be an advocate for the word yes, because it does push you in directions you wouldn't otherwise push yourself in. And it does bring whatever part of that world wants your magic to you. So how it all started, like I'll give you the abridged. It all started, I was just a tiny little ginger girl with apricot hair that only ever wanted to paint and mix colors and do the things. And at 4 years old, I was already telling my mother how I wanted to dress. I've always loved wearing white. So I had my mother making me white walking shorts at 4. I was designing my own clothes. But I lived with a very fun, creative, I would say somewhat eccentric mother who just let me do my own thing. I went to high school and very much had that support behind me, which is just be yourself. Mm-hmm. And so to be yourself, I think, is the most important thing to go into the world doing. And throughout high school, I always championed people. I love to rally people together. I love to create beautiful experiences. I was dance director. I was the president, but I was also huge in the art room and always doing big art things in my community. And then I just started traveling. I got accepted to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology in New York, for textile and surface design. I was pretty convinced I was going to be a fashion designer. I walk in there. They were like, lady, you ain't no fashion designer. And I was like, wow, that hurts. But they accepted me for textile and surface. I did a couple elective courses, but in New York, I was sort of like, God, being trapped in a room in New York feels like a death sentence. I'm in New York. So I just started working and never went back to school. And so I'm an untrained in everything I've ever done creative person. And I always like to go on the record saying that, because I think so many people in whatever creative industry feel like they're not good enough if they're not educated and if they don't have something behind them. And I'm from the old school, which is if you get your hands dirty and you get in there and you start figuring stuff out, that's the best school. Mm-hmm. So at the time I was living in New York and Connecticut, kind of bridging between the two. The person I was with then bought a huge Center Hall colonial traditional Connecticut home. And it was gorgeous, but it needed lots of work. Mm-hmm. And I proceeded to work on this house as a 20-something with no interior design skills and absolutely no knowledge of my love for interior design. It was sort of my fiance bought a house and now I got to fix it, mother, like sort of concept. All the while, Domino magazines were coming in the door. And that was sort of my foray into design. Fast forward a decade, I move up to Toronto, and I'm just designing my spaces the way I always do. A photographer I was working with on a project, because I do tons of creative direction, came to my place and said, oh my God, could you do my apartment this summer? I would love for you to do my apartment. And here's the budget and here's the keys and I'm gone, and enjoy your life. And fast forward, a Toronto Life editor was in her building at the pool, needed to go pee. My photographer friend offered her the bathroom in her apartment. Woman sees my work and says, oh my God, who did this place? And then boom, a design career was born. Wow. Because she published the apartment in Toronto Life and labeled me an interior designer. So I tell this story because this person saw what I did in my own house and just blindly trusted me. And everyone there forward has blindly trusted me. And I blindly trusted myself. So from interiors, I've done tons of creative direction. I've had a long-standing sort of secret career in the toy industry. So I do a lot of stuff. I actually had 7 straight years with Fisher-Price, creative directing, campaigns, packaging, you name it. A lot of what I do with toy companies is very embargoed because everything is very hush-hush. But anything from television to commercials to interior design to commercial design to product design, my own artwork, working on podcasts. Now I'm doing sound healing. It really is all about sort of what I'm interested in and sort of where my head is at as far as creativity is concerned. So once you start to creative direct, then I've also had the opportunity to direct toy commercials. So I've been hired to be the director, which is crazy, which is, in charge of the whole vision. And then all the stuff you see on HGTV as a television personality working on spaces. Working, my own furniture line. That's objects. I just launched a wallpaper collection. That's an object. But it's all sort of the same shit. And that's the thing I want to tell anybody out there listening is that once you think you're, as you get older and stuff sort of evolves and gets bigger, and maybe it does, but it doesn't seem that way to you because you're still that little creative ginger that's like messing around with stuff and then turning it into something, and you just have a few more skills. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to today, I've taken a break from television this past year and a half. Very necessary. I needed a break. Mm-hmm. I've been working on some projects down in Florida and working on my art. So I've been selling lots of art this past year, back to my actually making like fine art again and getting that in galleries and selling it. And back to things that make me feel more whole and restored. So hence the sound healing that I've just launched with a colorful meditation series called Quietly Colorful. So how's that for the wind up?
I love it all.
Was it too long? Did I talk too long?
No, not long enough. I want to ask like a bajillion questions, but I'm going to rein it in here. And I think sum that up just with the idea. I think part of, I've been a big fan for many years. And I think part of that is, as a creative as well, I have felt more in my life that it was more like kind of you have to pick a path and you have to, define who you are. And that's kind of what it is. And I love that you can do all these different things, but it still is always just so you. And it does. It's very cohesive and it doesn't feel like it's just like all over the place, but yet you get to experience all these different things. And I think that's what life is about, isn't it? Like, why should you just have to do one thing for the rest of your life? And that's part of my journey too, is just, I feel like doing something. And so I do it, and that's just the way it's been. But a lot of people kind of don't appreciate that, I think. And so I always am just so inspired by the people who can really like live that and embody it like from head to toe. And so I think that's amazing. And I love hearing all the different things. And I wish everybody had to give a very detailed response to who they are, because I don't think it's ever as simple as we kind of try and distill it down into a couple of sentences, which is why it always is hard to write a little introduction for someone, because how do you sum someone up in just a couple of lines? So thank you for the extended version.
Yes.
Well, gosh, of course. Hearing you talk and say what you said, I have 2 things that popped in my head. Is it okay if I say something?
Yes.
I feel like I'm talking
Why
a lot.
we're here. No, but we want you here to talk.
Yes.
So I know, but I want to hear both of you talk too. I think what, have you guys ever listened to my, and this was the very first talk I ever did. And it was frightening because this was like, I think almost a decade ago. And it was my Creative Mornings talk. And did you ever hear of this? It's buried. So you might be able to find it on my YouTube, but Google Tiffany Pratt Creative Mornings. Okay. And do you know what Creative Mornings is?
I do. I actually made confetti for them in the very beginning of the confetti bar. Tina, I know about her confetti drawer, and she was very much about the confetti. So yes, I am familiar.
So this, again, like a decade ago, maybe in 9 years, I don't know, but they called me and said, would you do a talk on color? And so I was like, sure, I'll do a talk on color. And so this is why I'm bringing it up, because it reminded me of your Confetti Land. What I did that morning, they wanted me to start the talk at 8 a.m. And they had me in this old Buddhist temple, and I lined the whole ceiling. They had these rafters in the ceiling. And so I woke up early with my then assistant, and we literally dropped rainbow streamers through the whole ceiling of this place, starting at 6 a.m. And weeks before that, I had enlisted the entire Creative Morning staff to help me make bracelets for the attendants so that everybody would sit down and have a little rainbow bracelet. So in that moment, I wanted to say that's your Confetti Land moment, which is to say that, no stone goes unturned, no person feels untouched, no moment feels not special. And so that's what my Creative Mornings talk was all about. They asked me to come talk on color, and then I totally went off script. I got up there, I look at this crowd. I'm expecting like 50 people to show up for a little intimate chat. 200 plus people, standing room only. I start to pee myself. I was like, oh my God, why do all these people want to hear what I have to say? And I literally I had all these random notes with Sharpie written out, and I felt so prepared to talk about color. And then I got out there and I kind of felt the room, and I was like, fuck it. And I just like tossed my notes, and I was like, you guys want to know what it's like to live a creative life? And I just kind of like let it rip. And one of the things I said during the talk, and it's almost like it was a spiritual experience, because something else everything creative to me is a spiritual experience. But in that moment, I know that something else came through me and talked through me to deliver this message that needed to be said to the crowd. And one of the things was that doing creative things requires you to plant lots of seeds. And when you plant lots of seeds, you never know when those seeds are going to come to pass, germinate, become the flower you want it to be. So you always have to be planting and tending to your own creative garden. And so I think as you're growing your brand, the thing I always think about is just think about the stuff that's important to you as a human being, as a creative person, as a person who's put your heart and soul in so many different things, and always bring it back to, is it Confetti Land? Like, meaning not Confetti Land the place, but Confetti Land the brand, the feeling, the essence. And the reason I'm saying that is because you just said everything I touch feels very cohesive, and it never feels off book or off brand. And it's because everything I've ever done is always goes back to the things I love, which is, can I do this my way? Meaning, are they going to give me some room to move? Because that's a really important place for me when I work with a company is this company going to give me some space? Can I use things in a weird, interesting, repurposed way? Is there color involved? Can I help or make somebody feel good in this process? Those are the things I always ask myself, because I want to always make it accessible by using something in a new, interesting way, or reusing something so it doesn't feel too out there or expensive. And then in the other ways with colors, I know that color is healing, so I always want to make sure color's involved. But then also I want whatever I'm doing to be a feel-good thing, even if it's something you're watching and you smile, or you take it home and you do it yourself. It doesn't matter. I just always want someone to go home and go, wow, that was fun. Or, you know what? Shit, I can do that. Or, wow, that was something that's going to inspire me to do this. So those are my tiers. And so I think that that's an important thing for you as a brand, but for anybody out there looking at themselves as a brand, as not necessarily always a person, but coming up with the key elements that really make who they are and what they do feel important to them. And then always putting whatever project it is, even if it's saying yes to something that's completely out to lunch, left of center, out in the field. Yeah, but if this out in the field thing can be colorful and this and this and this, then it still can be mine. And so anyone that ever tells anyone that they go to school to be a secretary and they're only ever going to be a secretary is the most boring person in the world and has no vision and doesn't realize that as human beings, we grow and evolve. And as we grow and evolve, different facets, colors, and crystal pieces of ourselves are to come out and refract in the world and share the perspective, the point of view, the love, the vision, so that we can continue to always inspire others. Because I think if we take ourselves out of it and we understand that our purpose is to always help and inspire other people, then that makes it less ego and more love-based. So anyways, that's sort of how my career got started in that version with the talk. And that talk still gets brought up to this day, and I still stand behind some of the crazy shit I said that day when I tossed my little pink papers to the side. I was like, screw it, I'm not talking about this color crap. I'm going to talk about a creative life. And so that's another one of about a billion examples where Tiffany Pratt gets invited to do something, and I'm like, sure, I'll talk about color. And then I take the stage, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not talking about color. So
I love it.
Yes.
But no, I think that's just a real testament to like being authentic and being true to yourself. And as long as you're always kind of thinking about that and doing things that just feel so true and real, like you'll never go wrong. And anytime inevitably in my life that I've tried to do something that didn't really feel right, but it just felt like it was the thing I was supposed to do, it's always kind of blown up. Whereas the things that I did just because I really wanted to and it just felt right have always been amazing and special. Or even if that moment itself wasn't, it always led to something that was. So I admire that you get to do that all the time, because I do think it's something I still struggle with sometimes.
I don't get to. You gotta push for it, you know. That's being self-employed, man. It's not for the weak.
Yes. Of course.
You gotta pick up those bootstraps sometimes and be like, man. Okay, but yeah, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Yes.
It's definitely a thing.
For sure. I love it. Well, I would love to hear a little bit more about some confetti and celebration things. So I have a few questions for you, if that's cool.
Yes, of course.
First question is, what does confetti mean to you?
Celebrating every day. Just that simple. I think we don't know what tomorrow is, and confetti, much like fine china, much like the precious silver, much like the fancy clothes, is something that we need to pull out, use liberally and every day, because every day is precious. So when I see confetti, I think we just have to celebrate every day.
That's awesome.
For sure. I actually have a confetti story. Have you guys ever been to Mexico?
I have not.
Briefly.
Oh, Alexis has.
Have you been to Mexico? Yes. Okay. Next time you guys go to Mexico, find yourselves in a dollar store in Mexico or in a weird market, because they take their partying very seriously in Mexico. They take their piñata paper life in Mexico very seriously. And the confetti in Mexico is actually dyed paper and punched. And so the confetti looks like paint dyed magic. And so I was in Mexico last winter, and I came home with half a suitcase full of Mexican confetti.
That is so
I have like a whole multiple big jars of it full next door, and I'm obsessed. So that's my so I just want to say, go to Mexico and get the damn confetti. Okay. Sorry. So you were going to say.
No, I love that. Now I'm like, okay, we need to plan a trip. But I do love, and I'm going to butcher the word, but cascarones, they're confetti eggs. Did they have some of those too? Did you grab some?
Yes. Yeah. I didn't get the confetti eggs because those are seasonal.
That makes sense. Just more so in the spring.
Yeah, those are seasonal.
Wow.
So you can't always get them. They're not something that are always laying around, but the things you can always get is a bag of confetti, and they have them at like the dollar stores or wherever. So anyways, you're so funny. You're like, I'm going to go see this one.
Listen, that is great intel. So what would it make the current confetti mix of your life?
Okay, so the current confetti mix is actually a real mix. And I told, this is an offline conversation I had with Jessica and Alexis before we went live in Confetti Land. I had this jar. I got this jar. It's a plastic jar. It's actually pink, but it doesn't look like it because you can't see through it anymore. But I don't believe in any waste. I hate waste, especially beautiful glitter, confetti, paint supply, art supply waste. So if I have like paint I've scraped off of a painting, and you have those like paint balls that are all multicolored, I dry them and keep them. If you cut yarn and you have the end scraps of yarn, I don't throw those away. I keep them. if somebody sends me a package with weird things inside of it, I don't trash it. I keep it. And so what does this all mean? Like, here's a great example. Okay, so what does this all mean? That I keep it and I put it in this jar.
This is so good.
And this jar is
like
so many years of weird keeping. And when you get something from in this jar, it's janky and amazing. So I literally just pulled out this thing. I was making a rubber stamp and I kept the rubber stamp shavings, okay? Those are in here. Pieces. Oh, my friend has a leather company and she sends her parcels with little leather hearts. That's in here. These weird pearl beads that I bought that actually never arrived with a hole. So I was like, F it, it goes in the jar. Pieces of confetti. The newest addition to the jar is 2024 is the year of luck, I find. So I just found horseshoes at a vintage shop. So I put horseshoe sequins in here. There are a mix of clear glitter and chunky glitter, all different grades. So thin, fine, whatever. I love clear glitter. It's my fave. There's also my Mexican confetti. I'm just going to hold it up so you can see what my Mexican confetti's in here. And then there's also these like tinsel scraps that are pieces of tinsel that have, there you go. But they've been cut and they're kind of thin and they're like, you can flatten them. But anyways, and then there's foam balls, tiny little foam balls in here. Big pieces of, so this is what my real confetti jar consists of.
I love it.
And what this represents, a piece of, look at this. Okay, you guys are going to laugh. This is a piece of glue with glitter on it. And I couldn't throw it in the garbage. So it's a piece of glue. Okay. I'm using this jar as a physical representation of the question. That everything we do in our life is a part of us. And everything that we create has outcomes. And some of the outcomes work and some of them don't. And some of them are beautiful and some of them aren't great. But everything is worth keeping and celebrating and using to make special all the time. This jar has been lowered and emptied and it's changed because I've used it and then refueled it. But this is sort of the vessel. This is you. The jar is you. And you just have to keep remembering that all those things you put inside are the special things and the things that maybe someone wouldn't think are beautiful, but you do. And the things that you want to keep because you know that they mean something. And that when you sprinkle little bits of this to other people or out in the world, you're sharing a piece of yourself. So this is a physical representation of your question, and hopefully that makes sense.
You literally just articulated so well everything that we want to get across at the Confetti Bar in Confetti Land. Literally couldn't have said it better. So thank you.
Yes, exactly.
So good.
That is what it is about for me, and that's why with like the confetti I make, it's really important to me that it has texture and it has colors and it has different materials, because to me it is like such a symbolic representation of life itself. It's all these different little bits and all these pieces, and in the end it does make this one big beautiful mess that, you know, is life. And so yes, 100%. And I love that you actually literally have that physical jar of all of it, and it's like a time capsule of all the moments in your life, which is just amazing.
Yeah, and if I dig through, I'm sure I'll find other random shit. Like there was a time when I was like using all this, and I know there's threads in here. I know it's everything. And the other element I would say to anyone out there listening is that get a jar.
Yes.
Just get a random jar in your house, and every time you're creating something by yourself or with your kids or your aunts, your uncles, your niece, your nephews, and you have leftover stuff and you're looking at the aftermath of your creations, remember that even the aftermath is beautiful, and that it's really important to take these little tiny things and turn them into one big thing, because so much trash is in the world, and you could spare the trash in the world and keep recycling the beautiful experience. I had a part of my story I totally went over, which was a stint of about 4, almost 5 years, where I facilitated art and I had my own art studio. And I would facilitate art for children and adults. And during that time, it was again, I always say like another spiritual experience, because I think children are pure state creativity, and they just say what's on their mind, and they show up the way that they want to show up, and they will wear a costume during the day and screw it. Today I'm wearing wings, and they don't have a purpose behind what they're making, but sometimes it builds into a story. And the reason I'm bringing up my studio, it was called Glitter Pie. And Glitter Pie, to me, everything in the space was sacred. And I loved when the children came in, because our time together was very free-form creativity. And then I would always have them appreciate even the colorful glue that would hit the table on the paper, and they would pull up their creation and it would go somewhere to dry. But the aftermath of what they left behind, sometimes I would let those leftover glue glittery messes dry, and I would roll up the paper, and at the end of the year I would invite all my families to come and wrap their Christmas presents in all this aftermath paper.
Wow.
And we used all this aftermath paper, we used all the aftermath bows, all the aftermath everything, and we created these really wild, glitter-filled, confetti-filled, one-of-a-kind, artful creations. And so I'm just saying, when I talk about somebody out there, like, grab a jar and fill it full of that stuff. Also, don't forget that you don't have to be so conventional with how you live your life and how you create or how you gift or how you give. That was sort of the inspiration. I wrote a book called This Can Be Beautiful. And the idea behind the book is this literally can be anything. This piece of paper, this glitter, this jar of confetti, that weird old sofa, this thing can be beautiful. And the idea is that we all have so much stuff, and we're all so blessed with all this stuff. So let's take every single moment and every single thing we have and witness its beauty and keep it, and then give it away. Keep that beauty for the right moment, the right person, the right gift, and then give it out into the world, and let that one beautiful little thing that you did create a tumble or a ripple in their life. And so, I'm not saying become a hoarder. Okay. So I'm not saying be a hoarder, but I am saying,
where is the line?
Trust me, Jessica, I hear you. Takes long sip of water. But you can draw your own line. But I just think when you keep and give things like that, it helps people witness things in a different way. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, that's the perfect segue into making beautiful messes.
I was gonna say, we're obviously, that is what we do here, and that is the whole kind of goal, is to get people to not just embrace beautiful messes, but to intentionally make them as well. And I'm gonna ask this question, but I feel like I know the answer. But what is your kind of philosophy on this concept of making a mess?
You know, it's perfect that you're right, Alexis. This is the perfect question for this moment. Alexis, like, segue. This Can Be Beautiful and Glitter Pie are all about that. Glitter Pie was is a physical example of me. Literally, I think at that stage in my life, I often said, if this thing doesn't work out, I'm just going to be the best cleaning lady in the world. Because I would let kids blow the place up.
Amazing.
And like the stuff that we did, that parents are like, I don't know what you're going to do here. And I'm like, this was glorious what happened here today. But the mess making is also something that we have to allow ourselves to have, because as young children, I witnessed it quite a lot, that sometimes kids weren't feeling like they were allowed to make a mess. And they felt so stuck inside of themselves to even have mess on them, as like their hands or their clothes. Like they didn't want their clothes to get messy or their hands to get messy. And I would always say, wear junky clothes, come for a mess. And it took some children a long time to get to that. Even adults that I would work with, always washing their hands. I'm a clean freak. I take 2 showers a day. I'm not saying don't be clean about yourself. Yeah. But what I am saying is that the mess of life is sometimes where the richness and the messages and the glory and the grace and the goodness and the intel and the healing happens. And so as a creative person, it's those messy times that even if they do not result in much of anything physically, emotionally, they always result in something extraordinary. And even if it was just a release in your emotional body yourself, to have felt like, I put my hands together, I made something, I touched material, my hands were covered in paint or glitter or something or colors, and I feel better. Mm-hmm. The mess is a part of, I think, and I believe we're all creative people, by the way. I don't believe there's one person on this planet that isn't a creative person. And I think that each person has to find their craft to know what your thing is that you want to touch and do. But each of us engaging in the thing that brings us alive is what makes us better. So the mess is necessary. And I was always given very wise recommendations at one stage in my life, especially in my career, when everything I was doing was output. And what I mean by that is you're creating so much, so often, but so little for yourself, mm-hmm. and so often for other people. And you're pumping out all this creativity for other people, but you're not leaving enough for yourself. You're not taking a minute. You're not giving yourself an opportunity to just make a weird little mess for yourself, for your own good, mm-hmm. not for someone else's good. Yes. And so anyone out there listening, I think no matter how busy you are, whatever you're doing, the practice that I've always gone back to as a person who loves the creative life is always to know, and this is how I coin it to my loved ones, is today I just need to go fuck with some shit. Yeah. Today, I'm just going to go fuck with some shit, and I don't know what's going to happen, but like, I'm probably braless, I'm probably in my pajamas, I'm probably not going to eat all day, I'm going to go into my studio, and I'm just going to fuck with some shit. And like, those are the days when I feel most mm-hmm. myself, because even if I don't make anything great, and even if I just get started on something, or even if I just cut up 1,000 pieces of fabric, I don't give, it's that I made a mess, and I fucked with some shit, and I feel like myself. So that's a long-winded answer. That's perfect. But yes. But I believe that making a mess is vital for all of us, because it's like the dark and the light. If you don't ever experience darkness in your life, you will never truly appreciate the light. Mm-hmm. And if you don't ever find yourself in the middle of the mess, you'll never appreciate the order and the cleanliness or the togetherness that you'll experience as well. Because sometimes people will get so locked in their togetherness and their order that they'll forget the beauty and the chaos of a mess. And sometimes when we create a mess, we can redo our systems and rethink spaces or objects or ourselves. So I often look at mess as like the contrast that we all need in order to see things differently.
That's good. That's funny. So I've talked about this on our show before, but I assume you've had a similar experience being someone who, especially having a physical studio and having glitter and paint and everything. But I've always found it very interesting in my 10 years of making confetti that the way people react to confetti seems to be a metaphor for kind of how they show up in the rest of their life. And you can tell the people who like actively resist and like first thing that crosses their mind is like, nope, don't bring that near me. Nope, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. And like it is, I'm not a psychologist, but that has been my observation. And I'm curious if you've had sort of a similar experience. And you can tell them when they finally do like give it a try and let go, they're the ones who like wholeheartedly embrace it.
Preach, Jessica. Yes, like what you just said is 1,000,000,000% my experience. I have so many examples to give you, but I'll give you one resounding example that I'll give you, which is I never send a card without glitter in it, ever. There's never a card, Christmas card, every card. Even if it's, I'm sorry, somebody's passed away, glitter. Like,
that's so good.
My accountant, if I'm sending my accountant a check, I'm not joking.
This is the best.
I love it.
Every person in my life, they'll get a oh, I have one right here too, guys. Don't think, right here, I'm talking to you from my desk, okay? This is my office desk area. So this little station over here is like a higher ground area where I have another jar of another glitter mix. Okay. Yes, this is a culture. Guys, look at this. This is like weird pieces of yarn in here. Like I can't even tell. Like it is okay. Point is, every card in my life
gets a sprinkle.
Gets a sprinkle, and people who will reach back out to me and say, "Oh, thank you so much. I received your card." And it was so nice. But I shook it first. And I opened it over the sink because I knew there was glitter in it. Or I can't wait to get your cards because I just bathe in the glitter that you send. I love it so much. Or people that will take videos of themselves shaking it all over their carpet. And then some people I've had people say this to me. I didn't even open your card because I knew there was glitter in it, but I'm sure what you wrote was nice, but I threw the thing in the trash.
No.
Yes. So there's that. And then there's the experience of when I had glitter pie, I would do birthday parties. So every weekend for years of my life, I hosted birthday parties. And so what happens at birthday parties is kids will show up from all over, and not just like my local area of kids I teach in classes on a regular basis. These are kids who come from miles around and get to come into my studio and have a wild experience. And the parents would stay because this wasn't a class. This was like a drop-in birthday leave. And the moms and the dads would come in and they're dressed all nice. And they're, oh God, I can't touch anything. Ooh. And the kids are dressed all nice. And I was like, it says on the invitation, dress for a mess. These are the people that would come in. And then at the end of it, they're like, oh, well, I drank enough Starbucks, so I'm just going to come in and wait for Johnny to be done. And then she would sit down at the beauty table and she'd start making herself a bracelet. And then she'd leave with a fucking arm full of candy. And then all of a sudden she's like, little Johnny's over here, so I'm going to make a little collage. And then she's like putting glitter on it, covering herself. At the end of it, she's like using the glitter as makeup. And then the final story would be a group of little gals all came in that age where they all think they're too cool. And they all think that they're the bomb, and all of them are trying to impress each other. And I had enough of it. And halfway through it, I said, who wants to do body glitter today? And they were like, excuse me? I pulled out an entire jar of aloe vera gel. I dumped half a jar of microfiber glitter in it. And I had all these kids covering their entire bodies, their hair, their face, everything in glitter. And they went from the cool girls to just wild and crazy nuts human beings looking like little purple tin men, loving their lives. Parents who were like pissing themselves laughing when they picked their kids up. So I believe that glitter and confetti have an opportunity to transform us and transform a moment and transform our point of view. And I think anybody that looks at something like glitter and confetti and doesn't understand its power has lost a sense of magic that needs to be restored.
Amen.
And I think too, it's something, and even for me, living confetti all the time, like even I find myself sometimes if I'm just like not in the mood. My daughter, I try so hard to like give her the freedom and to not dampen her spirit, and she very much is the kid. She's 3.5, knows exactly what she wants to wear, all about the princesses, the color, the glitter, everything. And there'll be times that she's like, Mommy, can I play with the glitter? Can I play with it? And I'm kind of like, oh, I don't want to make a mess right now because I know I have to clean it up. But then I like really have to focus. I'm like, no, like this is the point. It's fine. Like she is living her best life and she enjoys it. And inevitably, as soon as I let her like dig in, I'm right there with her and like forgot about everything else that I was like stressed about or worried about. And so it is something you kind of have to intentionally practice, but like you said, the transformative power of it. And every time it just immediately like everything else I was stressed about and, kind of worried about kind of fades away. And I think it's just so important to intentionally allow ourselves to have those moments, even when we're not necessarily feeling it. And maybe even more so, those are the times we need it even more when we're sort of resisting it. I think it's just so important.
And the fact that you could catch yourself and say, hold on, this is a moment that I don't want to miss with her. those hold on moments that wake you up are the moments that are for both of you, you know, to go, because listen, I am as OCD as they come as far as tidy up and clean up an organization. Like my poor husband, like I don't go to bed with dishes in the sink. Like I'm a lunatic. So I like when everything's clean and tidy. But at the same time, when you go to my studio and shit's upside down, he's like, okay, but the studio can look like this, but the kitchen has to look like that. I'm like, correct. And I liken this. I have another great confetti story, and I'm sorry I'm full of stories, but I realize I'm like that. I feel like anyways, I'm just going to tell you the story. I was asked to be an ambassador for a sewing machine that is in Switzerland, created in Switzerland. And the idea behind it was a Bernina machine that it could sew through anything. And so they asked me to put it to the test. I was sewing, you know, all sorts of stuff. The iron-on patches, I was sewing those on, which under normal needles, under normal circumstances would break. All sorts of sequins, like you name it, I was putting it under the machine. So then they said, listen, will you come out to Switzerland and do the tutorial video on this product? Swiss people are so in the box. Swiss people are so katuka, okay? Everything is so perfect, lined up, everything's orderly, everyone's relaxed, everyone's in the box, everyone's chill, everything has its place. Enter Tiffany, gets off the plane.
Trailing glitter.
And so here's the best part of this story. We're in a very small town in Switzerland, which is where the headquarters is. And there's this thing at that time, which is in the winter, called Carnival. And all of the local grocery stores are selling confetti. And so I'm in the grocery store just buying some basic stuff while I'm there. And I see this huge big bin of this dusty pink confetti. And I was like, what in God's name? So I load it up. I start buying this dusty pink confetti. We're doing the video series. The third day we're there. They're like, okay, we need an end scene. We need an end scene where, you know, we're celebrating the machine. And what's the scene going to be? And I said, I bought all this confetti at the grocery store. You think we should throw it in the air? When I talked to you guys about bags, like the bags were this big. I bought 3 bags. Mountains of pink confetti. And I started throwing the shit. Okay. What has come from that moment was an amazing photo opportunity, which you'll probably see on my website. On top of an amazing photo opportunity, I still get emails from the people in Switzerland 5 years later that they're still finding pink confetti in their AV room. Yes. I have gone through items that I wore at that time on that set, and I still find confetti in my little knickknack bags. It became my claim to fame, this crazy pink confetti.
Yes.
And we're still talking about it 5 years later. The president was like, what did this woman do to our AV room? What happened? So then what did I do? I brought it into his office. And I started to throw it in his office because I was like, these people need to have more fun. So I'm just saying this confetti was readily available to them in their grocery store, and I brought it to them. I was like, you know what? Takes a non-resident to see this as a magical tool. So that's another one of my confetti stories.
Sorry. Do not apologize.
We
that's
want
my
all
favorite.
the confetti stories.
They're so buttoned up, and like, guys, my video team was from Germany. Like, they were all very. And so I was like, I'm going to just dump this bag here, right here in front of the sewing machine. I'm just going to toss this shit. And I'll send you, there's a picture on my website. You'll see it. But I'm literally like, so we have visual aids.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. We
have visual aids.
Okay. So you've mentioned a number of things that you do. And I think, you know, if I really distill it down, I think you're just such a wealth of inspiration in so many shapes and forms. So we've talked about, you know, your Quietly Colorful meditation series that's new, the Love Jam podcast. You have your This Can Be Beautiful book. On Instagram and your website, you have your magical memorandums, which we talked about. I have one on the tote bag. I love them. They're just not only like for someone who enjoys all of the feels and like deep thinking and that, but they just look beautiful. So I am constantly inspired by you, but I want to know, who or what are you most inspired by?
Oh, that's a great question, isn't it? I think the very first thing I think about as soon as you said it was sort of the opposite, I'm sure, of what you think, which is the thing that inspires me the most is solitude.
I can get behind
like
that.
just to be chill. Yeah, just to be the thing that I think helps fill my cup and makes me feel the most inspired and is when you can go inwards and be quiet or have quiet around you, an opportunity to kind of let the channel open and let things kind of come through you. Those are some of my most favorite inspired moments, is that you can kind of see things differently and little pockets of ideas kind of come through and get delivered. And you don't get those little deliveries when you're so busy, because you're some of the thoughts I have, like, do I love going to art galleries? Love. Do I love traveling? Yes. Press International, like a magazine store or a bookstore. Oh my God. Yes, I love all of that stuff. I'm not so much of a TV person. I'm very much a like texture experience. I love fashion. I love thrift stores. I love like a value village. Those are things that I'll go to. It's sort of just a place to turn my brain off. So if I can find some obscure art gallery, I'll go check it out. But those things that are entertaining for me, entertaining for my creative spirit. But the thing that I think fills me up is being quiet, because when you're out in the world, I hate to say it, but we're losing traction on original thought, because everyone's going outwards to look for inspiration. And if we're going outwards always to look for inspiration, then we're effectively not tapping our own individual well. We are almost putting our spin or replicating something in our own way because we're looking outwards. But if we have time in solitude, then we can be like, okay, hold on. And things like Quietly Colorful have come from solitude. This Can Be Beautiful came from solitude. Glitter Pie came from solitude. And it's these places, these experiences, these books, all of this that has come from me just being quiet with myself and saying, what do I need? What will make me happy? What feels worthy of my time in the world right now? Because writing a book isn't something you just do for fun. It takes years of your life. So to be inspired means to get quiet and think of something that really fills you up and that's something you want to put your time and attention on. Does that help?
You're really hitting all the things that we wanted to talk about. So that's awesome.
Okay.
What is your best advice for someone who is like having trouble trusting their heart and their like instincts and going inside themselves?
The best advice I would have is that you already have all the answers, and that you not trusting yourself is the one place I would start with the most, is the one person you should trust the most is yourself, and that any other external force is not as powerful as your own inner guidance. And if you have trouble trusting yourself, then I think get a bunch of scrap paper and just start writing longhand and start dumping out all the stuff that makes you feel like anything. Because once you dump out all that internal stuff, you'll realize that inside of you is all of the wisdom and answers and healing you need. And as soon as we make anyone else more powerful than ourselves, as far as being the keeper of our own keys, then we're kind of losing the ability to be our true selves. Because if we don't trust ourselves, we can't be our true selves. And to that same end, go on a walk. Just go outside. Just go on a walk. All this going inward. And if meditating makes you freaky, you don't have to see white light and, have a blank mind and be like Buddha on the mountaintop. It's for me, it's about just go on a walk. Look at the trees. In my case, I look at the lake, I listen to the birds, take a look at who painted what door, what color, see kids laughing a little bit, watch a dog walk. Those are moments of solitude, and those moments can bring great inspiration. And I think that's the best inspiration I could say. And also that's another reason why I made Quietly Colorful was it's a meditation series designed to give people something to look at while you're giving them meditative prompts, because we're in such a busy world that some people will listen to my meditation with their eyes closed and have a great journey. Some people won't be able to have that journey with their eyes closed. They want to physically see something. So I've created it to offer it for all people so that we can find ourselves and our stillness and our inspiration inside. Because I do believe creativity saves us all. And creative things are the things that become paramount in our worlds that really take our culture to a new place. And those are the people that I want to help support, because we need to bring more life and color and creativity in the world because it makes us all happier. And don't we all just want to be happy? So anyways, that's my answer to that.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you will indulge us and you have a few more minutes, we have our most favorite part of having a visitor in Confetti Land, and it is what we like to call our super silly segment. And so we're just going to ask you some random questions, and the idea is, not to think about it too much and just give us your unfiltered thoughts, which I don't have any worries you'll have trouble doing.
Bring it on, Jessica.
All right. And Alexis often doesn't like to look at these ahead of time, so she likes to be just as surprised. I'll let her start.
Oh, so Alexis, are you answering the questions as well?
No, she'll ask them, but she doesn't look at them.
She's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's coming.
I'm going into it just as blindly as you are. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm always ready. I was born ready, baby. Bring it. Let's go.
Perfect. All right. First question. Let's see what it is. What is the best type of cheese?
Ooh, I don't know why I wanted to say Parmesan, but here I am, Parmesan. The second thing that popped into my mind was a cheese stick. Those breaded cheese sticks.
Yes. I'm
picturing myself grating fresh Parmesan and then I'm eating a cheese stick. That's what I'm giving you.
Listen,
excellent.
Breaded cheese stick
is the right thought.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. On an average day, how many pigeons do you think you could reasonably carry?
Probably 3. Because there is a pigeon that has been having babies, and I can picture if I have the mama and the baby kind of here, and then I can hold the dad. Like, I think that they could go like this and then hold the dad, so the dad can be the overseer. But I can literally, they're right over there, and I can hear her, like, cooing, giving birth all summer long. This pigeon family, 2 rounds of babies. 2,
oh,
okay.
Goodness. Busy.
Babies, family, papa.
Wow.
Okay, 3.
That's good.
Got it.
Yep.
Next question. Why did the chicken cross the road?
To get to the other side, motherfuckers.
The obvious one, obviously.
Oh, wait, can I go backwards, though? Did you guys see that pigeon purse that Sarah Jessica Parker was carrying and just like that?
I did notice that.
So the second answer to your question is 1, and it's the pigeon purse. Sorry, I'm going backwards, but that pigeon purse was outstanding. Okay, keep going.
I did.
Yeah,
I honestly, I couldn't focus on anything else because at first I was like, is that a pigeon? Like, that's a pigeon. And then I could just only focus on that.
Alexis, when you're done this, Google Sarah Jessica Parker pigeon purse.
You're
gonna piss.
Missing out. I'm going in. Yes, I'm in for a treat. I can tell.
Okay, good. Wait till you see this purse. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Good one. Okay, next question. Disco balls?
All day, every day, light refraction, everywhere, everything. I have all sizes in all very specific locations because the sunbeam hits. And you know where the sunbeam hits, that's where you're going to get a refraction. So yes. And always on my patio in the summertime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have we have like
our language.
We have a sun porch and I have like a glass tabletop and I have just all of them under there. And in the summer, it just lights up.
Oh, yeah. Magic Town.
Yes.
Yep.
So good. Is pizza really just an open-faced sandwich?
No, pizza is called heaven. Pizza is what is the food of the gods, and pizza is the only thing that I think of when I'm really down. Like yesterday was pizza night. My husband and I have based our entire love affair on fucking Friday night pizza night.
Same. I have pizza on Friday nights too.
It's so ridiculous. And when he tries to go off book, I'm like, "What are you doing? You're going off book. We're eating pizza
do
tonight.
that.
We eat pizza on Fridays."
Yes.
So
Okay,
it's
I
not an
have to
open face
know.
sandwich. It's heaven. It's heaven.
But are you like any pizza is good pizza, or it has to be a certain
No.
kind of pizza?
We are bougie bitches. There is a pizza place. I live in the beach, and that just opened up like a year ago. It's called The Other Side. So we're having that right now. But we went on a good year stint with Blondies. We've been to just picture every bougie pizza place in Toronto. We will work his drive home from how he's going to pick up this pizza and get home, and then potentially what our reheat process is. So just
it's an event. It's an event.
It's an event.
Well, so I have to know because I'm from Connecticut. I know you lived in Connecticut a little bit.
Yes.
New Haven pizza is like a thing.
Oh my God! Hold on. Are you talking about old Post Corner Pizza? Have you ever been to Post Corner?
I have not.
In Darien.
I haven't been there. I'm more towards New Haven, so like New Haven pizza is like the thing.
I know it's the thing.
About.
That's everyone wants New Haven pizza.
I'll be honest. Okay, I live like 15 minutes from New Haven. To me, it's personally not worth it to go into New Haven for the pizza because it is like such a thing. I live in a town called Wallingford. We have better pizza, in my opinion, in many different places. But when Alexis visited, I felt like I had to give her the quintessential Connecticut New Haven pizza experience. So her and her parents flew out from Texas, and we had to get them the New Haven pizza from, I think we did both Pepe's and Sally's, or was it Modern? Maybe it was Modern.
I've heard of
Y'all
Pepe's.
Y'all literally got like 10 pizzas for like 5 of us.
Listen, you don't get one pizza.
Yes. That's how you do
it. So good.
Okay, I just have to talk about this for a second though. Pizza in New Haven. Do you guys know Dave Portnoy from the guy that does the pizza reviews from Barstool Sports? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I've heard of it.
Not living, apparently.
Not a regular, but yes.
Okay, Dave Portnoy, look him up. He's the president of Barstool Sports. The only reason I know this guy is because I married a man, okay? Otherwise, I wouldn't have clocked Barstool Sports as long as I've lived. But I'm obsessed with the guy because he is 100%, he's 100% New Yorker. Obviously having lived in New York, I love my New Yorkers. And he goes all over America and does pizza reviews, and everything he puts his pizza reviews against is the New Haven pizza.
Yes.
Everything he does. He puts everything up against, obsessed with New Haven pizza.
Wow.
And when I lived in Connecticut, there was a pizza place in Darien called Post Corner Pizza. And to this day, I still gleek and have cravings, and I will get on a flight and drive my ass to Connecticut just for the pizza. It's so good. And they do the best Greek salad. So if you guys are close, could you get to Darien within a couple hours?
Yeah. It's like an hour away. And actually, Alexis is coming up from Tennessee next week. We're going to New York. She's never been. So we're going there, but maybe we can make a little pit stop through Darien.
Post Corner Pizza.
Post Corner Pizza.
Post Corner Pizza.
We'll report back.
Locked and loaded.
Guys, I'm telling you, it's just disgusting and amazing and everything I love in this life. I'm going to be so jealous.
We'll eat some for you.
Yeah, just take
Okay.
a video of you guys going, just eating it. I'll be so jealous.
Like an ASMR video.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the Post Corner Crunch. That's the Post Corner Crunch.
Okay, on the bucket list. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Back on track. What does purple taste like?
Purple tastes like, you know, the Benadryl kids.
Like Dimetap.
Yeah, that's what I picture. Like, but it tastes like grape. Kids grape Dimetapp.
A taste of childhood.
Yeah, childhood. It's like, it tastes like a purple lollipop, but it's actually medicine and it makes you a little sleepy.
What kind of secret society would you like to start?
Secret Society of Glitter. Honestly, I think we need a secret society of glitter. I think that people need to be lacing glitter. You know those people that go into stores and put googly eyes on packages?
Yes.
Like on... Okay.
Heroes? You mean heroes?
Yeah. You know those heroes that... I think that that's what the society needs to be. It's like a glitter slipping, like a bit of a glitter dealing. And you put them in those little dime bags and like you're just passing them around and like in case you need them.
Well, count me and Jessica in.
Yes.
A little glitter society where we make plans and we brighten people's day and we sprinkle glitter places.
Good. I'm here.
We're your first two recruits.
Okay, I'm down.
Is it true that every time you clean something, you just make something else dirty?
Oh, wow.
It's profound.
Wow.
The deep ones. Had to go for the deep.
You know what? You just took me to a new place with that one. Because you're exactly right. Because you can clean your house, but where does all that filth go? In the garbage, down the drain. Oh my God.
On the sponge, on the towel, whatever it is. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, girl. Oh God, that's changing me. The out of sight, out of mind concept really gets screwed on this one. Okay. Well, yes, the answer is a hot yes. It's a hot yes.
Something to think about next time.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Jessica.
Listen.
My day is ruined! No, I'm just joking.
Listen, I'm here to make people think a little differently, okay? For better or worse.
You're doing it. Achieved. Achieved. Achieved.
What age would you choose if you could spend a week at any other age?
I would be a teen again. Somewhere in my teens. Yeah, like 16, 17, 18, maybe 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, I'd do that again.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do that again. Yeah, I don't know why. But I feel like I could really give that version of myself a real shake. Not in a bad way, but I think I could do some cool shit with her.
Mm-hmm.
We would spice things up a little bit. Okay.
Nice.
I like it. Okay. What is your go-to snack situation?
Ooh, what do I snack on? I'm kind of the most boring snacker in the world. Lately I found these protein bars that I cannot get enough of. To be honest, I'm not a snacker.
Oh, not a snacker.
I'm not a snacker. I eat a protein bar. Yeah, I kind of suck. I do these protein bars, or I drink tons of water. But you know what? I'll share a little recipe. I guess I'll call it a snack. I started to do this thing and now I'm hooked on them. Oats, spinach, cottage cheese, and an egg. Blend it, and I make them into pancakes.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Savory pancake situation.
They're kind of disgusting, but then I'll wash it down with the turtle at the end of the night. And that's how it makes it all better. So I guess a turtle or a turtle or five could be considered my snack, but I consider that more of like my you made it through the day indulgence. Mm-hmm. And that comes on the heels of the holidays, and I blame the holidays for reinvigorating my love for turtles, because those motherfuckers are really addictive.
I need to know, what is a turtle?
You guys don't have turtles?
I don't think.
Is that like the caramel chocolate?
Yes.
Situation?
Yes.
What rock am I living under?
Oh my God, Alexis, thank you. I was like,
apparently I haven't lived.
Jessica, I was like, I don't think. I'm like, this is not a Canadian thing. I eat those motherfuckers in the States too. Okay,
I don't
Jessica,
know
I am worried for you, Jessica. I don't know what to say.
It's
okay.
My whole life is a lie.
You haven't had a turtle?
Apparently not.
And turtle custard is the best kind to get.
What?
But yeah, give us a better description. I gave a bad one. Give us a full description, please, Tiffany.
So they're pecans that are they're pecans that have like caramel on top of them, and then they're completely covered in chocolate. So they're tiny little, like they're like this big. But the reason they're called turtles is because of the way that they lay the. Look at me, like I know the history of turtles, but basically the way that they lay the pecans down is that it kind of looks like a turtle. When they're in like a box, and they're all laid in a special little row. So it's not like you can get it like they're not fancy chocolates, but they're not. Middle.
They're not like in the movie candy aisle.
That's right.
No.
That's right.
I'll bring you some. I'm going to solve this problem next weekend. We're going to eat them. It's going to be great.
Okay. We'll have them.
Oh my God, you guys are going to eat
pizza?
Turtles and post-quarter pizza?
You want to come?
I am living for you. I am living for this time. And New York turtles, post-quarter pizza.
Yes. We're going to hit it all. Okay, so that'll be the thing. I've never had turtles. Alexis has never been to New York, and neither of us have had the pizza. So we'll just hit it all.
This is good. This is a good thing.
You guys, I want a report.
You will get
I need a breakdown. I need a breakdown report. I need a breakdown.
Report.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
We'll follow up. Our people will get in touch with your people.
Yeah, please do. You have my email on the hotline bling now. You have my direct line. I want an update.
Yes.
Is that an appropriate reason to use it?
Oh, yeah. No, I need a post-corner pizza video. You're going to be like, Tiffany, it's too cheesy. And I'll be like, you sons of bitches! How dare you? Yeah. But don't worry, you're going to New York, and there's amazing pizza in New York, so you can have a re-up on pizza when you get there.
There will be no shortage.
So good.
No, there will not.
Okay, last two questions.
Okay,
Yes.
hit me.
I think we might know the answer to this one, but what do you like to share?
Oh, God. You know what? Not a lot these days.
Other than glitter in your cards?
I was thinking,
I thought you were thinking about social media. I feel like I've kind of gone on a bit of a social media, like, I don't know. I feel like I've gotten disenchanted with it, but sharing in life, oh my God, do I share clothes?
Oh.
That's my sharing is caring thing. I have a room. I have a closet that is a room, and I'm beyond a clothes horse. And I have been every size, and I have a wardrobe for a lot of sizes. And so recently I've gone through my closet, and I've culled out a whole bunch of stuff, and I just gave a garbage bag to 3 different friends. An entire garbage bag. Yeah, so I think I love giving clothes because I buy interesting things. It's not just everyday stuff, and I love... Imagine a friend gave you a garbage bag full of curated clothes that fit you, and it was totally your style. All of a sudden, you're just pumped to get dressed the next day, right? Mm-hmm. And it like brightens your mood. So I love giving clothes. I love giving hugs. I love giving time to people. Like, this is a great example, or some strange man on the road that wants to talk about something. I want to give him a little time. And I love giving love. Especially to people that I feel like don't expect it or maybe need it the most. Mm-hmm. I love giving to food banks. Mm-hmm. And I love giving to my wiener dog, Poppy. I'm obsessed with her. So anything Poppy needs, Mama wants to give. Mama wants to give.
I love it. Okay. Last one. What is your most used emoji?
It's a tie.
It's
a tie between the glitter symbol, the praying hands, and the rainbow.
All good ones.
All the good ones.
Yeah,
those are
down to one.
Yeah, I'm always either sending, and then the fourth one below that is the pink heart with the glitter.
Yes.
So I would say those are my top 4. Those ones I kind of can't, those are my top.
Mm-hmm.
Glittering pink heart, glitter, praying hands, rainbow.
Love it.
Yeah,
So
those
good.
are the emojis. Those are the emojis.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was truly a dream come true. The one last thing I think we want to leave our confetti listeners with is, what is your one big hope for this world?
You know, this sounds extremely hippie-ish and Beatles-esque, and but I think that for me, I've always felt that love is the answer. And what I mean by that is you can love yourself enough. You can find love in those around you and even those you don't really love. If you can love what you do or really care about or love your surroundings, love your planet, if you can find peace and love with your enemies, then we would live in a way more beautiful place. Because if you cared about your surroundings or your environment, you're picking up outside, you're taking care of your neighborhood, you're showing love to people that you have differences with, you and your neighbors could all get along. You would maybe find a little bit more peace with family members. But all of that giving of love starts with loving ourselves and being as good to ourselves as we can be so that we can spill from an empty cup. So love, 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 love. When are we gonna fire this puppy off?
We're doing it. Okay, we're gonna do it. But first, where can our confetti people connect with you?
TiffanyPratt.com. TiffanyPratt.com. And my Instagram is the Tiffany Pratt. I'm trying to get up with the cool job with TikTok. It's also the Tiffany Pratt. And those are the 3 main arteries.
Perfect.
And if you want to get on my book, if you want to buy that, you can go on Amazon. What else do I have? My website's got it all. TiffanyPratt.com is a deep dive. It's a deep dive. So you can find that there. So talk to the people. So you take the lid off first.
Yes, we take the lid off. We have our confetti poppers. All right, so we're going to do, it's like a volleyball situation. So we'll do a little countdown on the count of 3. Are we ready?
3, 2, 1. Making it rain! Oh my God, you should see my desk.
Yes, my water is now confetti-fied.
She's gonna drink it. Just drink it anyway.
Guys, I've been waiting to use this thing since it came in the mail. Look at all these pretty colors.
So much for joining us. And we hope this won't be your first and last visit to Confetti Land.
It won't be. That's what happens with like-minded spirits. We always find each other, and we always have a good time. So thank you both from the depth of my heart for thinking of me and wanting me to be a part of this, and for your support and your kindness and your love, and for spreading love, and for giving the world confetti, and for sending me that beautiful package. I loved it so much, and I am so grateful for you guys. So thank you very much.
We're grateful right back.
Yes, very much so.
And here we are. Because you're new here, I turned off my meter for this drive, so it's on me. Enjoy your visit. Watch yourself as you get out of the taxi.
For more fun, join us on the socials at the Confetti Bar. And you can join the Confetti Club to receive free inspiration delivered to your inbox at theconfettibar.com/join.
Thanks for visiting!
Anyways, sorry. Can you have an explicit
Yes.
warning on this podcast? Okay.
Yes, we're good.
Yes.